When I think of it, the inspiration is usually you're inspired by something outside of you, or it's when you're in the presence of the divine, there's an inspiration. When you get moved, there's a spirit of inspiration. And then the intuition is like that gut feeling that kind of communicates with you, and like a GPS or a compass system that we have within an internal navigational system that is designed to lead us into all truth. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TruthSeekah and Arien podcast. Excited to be with you all.
I'm your host, Arien, and this is TruthSeekah.
That's me.
We're coming to you again from our lovely studio.
Here in the beautiful Mobile, Alabama.
That's right. It's very hot, but the season's changing. We're finally getting a little bit of coolness in the breeze. Like, it's still in the 90s outside, but you can feel that little bit of change that's coming, and it's like such a breath of fresh air to know that it's going to be changing soon.
Yeah, it's flirting with us.
Yeah.
I feel it cutting through just a little bit. A little goes a long way.
That's right.
We're here in studio, but in 2 months we're going to be in Anderson, South Carolina. We do have a retreat coming up that we need to, let people know.
I know, it's not even 2 months. It's closer than that. It's like 5-6 weeks. It's pretty close.
That sounds a lot closer.
I know, it's coming soon. So it'll be October 2nd through the 5th in Anderson, South Carolina. We're going to be meeting at an event space, and most of the people who have bought tickets already, which is a good bit of people, are people that have come to retreats before, people who are in our online community. So it's going to feel like a big homecoming, but always the people that we meet for the first time at the retreats, we warm up really quickly, and it's just like being a part of a big family atmosphere. So if you want to come fellowship with us, we would love to have you. October 2nd through the 5th, Anderson, South Carolina, and you can get all the information and your tickets at seer.school.
Yeah. Go check it out. We're going to be doing sound baths, sound healing, concert, teaching, equipping. We're going to be joined by our good friend Nicholas Hubbard, who's going to be doing prophetic frenzies, and he's awesome. Love what he brings to the table. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, seer.school. Check it out.
Also, I released a teaser for a new song that I have coming out
on Patreon.
That the full song is already available on Patreon and on our community app, which is also at seer.school. So if you're supporting on either one, you can go ahead and hear the whole song. But if not, the whole song releases on September 21st, which is the next new moon. But go and find that little sneak peek and let me know what you think about it, because this is only my second original song that I've worked on, and it's hard to put yourself out there, but I really love it. It came from my heart. And
yeah the people that have been listening to it on Patreon and giving us feedback has been amazing. So if that's any foreshadowing to what the world is going to experience when they hear it, it's going to be good. It's going to be great feedback.
Yeah.
So excited to release that 1 month. So that's one of the perks for being a part of our ministry and community platforms like Patreon. You get music before it's released to the general public, and in this case, a month before. So we got some new music. That's a new song that we have done. I have a new song with Loke Saint we're getting ready to release, but that's going to be on there as well before it's available for the general public. So if you follow the podcast or our work and you're a fan of the music, and it's definitely worth checking out. So like any level of giving, you get access to that. So make sure you check it out. Patreon.com/TruthSeekah. You check it out. Talking about like trying to figure out topics of what we want to talk about, like what we want to talk about, what we need to talk about. I don't know. I think like with social media and just everybody's a teacher, everybody's an expert now. Like I kind of feel I don't feel the need to push my way through the algorithms anymore, and doing that and seeing the little things that people do. I really don't like doing it anymore. I don't like to even speak on things as an expert or act like I know anything, So we just wanted to come on here and share and talk, and I guess I'm a little bit like Jordan Maxwell say straight up, like, I'm not the world's leading expert on anything. I've just experienced a lot and studied a lot. So anything that we talk about when it comes to religion and philosophy and the Bible and stuff like that, know that it's it's opinion. It's
Mm-hmm.
but personal beliefs and convictions, and through a lot of study and a lot of supplication. But I don't want to be a part of that rat race, and it's nasty out there, in the comment sections and stuff. So we're gonna talk about some stuff I put out on Facebook asking people what they wanted us to talk about, and there's just so many different
A wide range of subjects for sure.
yeah, wide varying range. Maybe we can pull from some of it, because I remember just scrolling through. I was like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I was like, well, why even ask then?
Yeah.
But maybe we could touch on some of those questions and
Yeah.
stuff that people had. Because after all, I mean, the people listening, they have questions. That's what they want to hear and stuff. So
Right.
here, just opinions, and I definitely can know we bring this to the table. Different ways of looking at stuff,
Yeah.
and most of it's countercultural or counter. You know, it's contrary to popular belief, with a lot of scriptures and a lot of um, agreed upon belief systems and theology, even fringe though. Even when it gets fringe into like weird spiritual or paranormal stuff, there's even a spin on that. It's like doubling down to continue to like filter yourself further and further away from groupthink and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think that's where the truth is anyway.
Yeah. I agree. Um, well, a common theme for me, like that I keep seeing over and over again, is about intuition, like
Mm.
following your intuition. So, I mean, what is intuition? It's what messages. Is it the same thing as inspiration, or is it a little different? You think?
Um, I look at them different. I look at one that's from without and one's from within, kind of
Yeah.
thing. When I think of it, the inspiration is usually you're inspired by something outside of you, or it's when you're in the presence of the divine, there's an
Mm.
inspiration. When you get moved, there's a spirit of inspiration, and then the intuition is like that gut feeling that kind of communicates with you, and like a GPS or a compass system that we have within an internal navigational system that is designed to lead us into all truth.
Yeah. Like we talk about a lot that our bodies are like antennas that we pick up on signals from God, from spirit, from the other side of the veil. But those signals also, like you said, are transmitted from within, from our gut, which a lot of people think the gut, actual physical gut microbiome, has a lot to do with intuition, because if
Mm-hmm.
it's all messed up, a lot of people whose gut is messed up have mental health issues, and they're not able to receive or decipher
Mm-hmm.
those signals that tell us when danger is around or when people aren't being authentic and genuine. Um, it's kind of the thing that signals um, words of knowledge. I think that you pick up from other people from being around them. But when you're all messed up or your body's in fight or flight, sometimes that stuff doesn't compute. But anyway, I've been seeing a lot of stuff lately about intuition and following your intuition, and like you just know, you have a deep knowing, but a lot of times we gaslight ourselves that everything's okay when it's not, whether it be in a group setting and there's inauthentic people around, or in a church setting and you just gaslight yourself into keeping on going even though you see things that are not kosher and things don't match up with your gut, with your belief system, things that you know are right. And yeah, anyway, that's been a common theme that I've been dealing with, is intuition and following your gut, following what signals that I believe God is sending you without just going along with the flow. Like the little meme, the little dog in the dumpster fire or in the office that's on fire, and he says, "Everything's fine, everything's
Mm-hmm.
fine." Like our friend's son was wearing a shirt that said something like that
Hmm.
when we were over there the other day. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I know Jordan. I try to like fact check a lot of stuff, but Jordan used to always say that the word um, gut is Scandinavian for God, your gut feeling or your God feeling. And he used to always say, I've never, seen that etymology myself, but he said it many times. And you can trust that gut intuition. Um, I don't know, like, you can it can definitely be out of balance to where you like, because there's some people who are like, you could be super sensitive to it to where like you just believe everything, every feeling that you get without
Right.
like testing it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I feel this way. My spirit, I don't feel right around them. It's something's wrong with them. It's like, hold on, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So projecting or whatever. So, um, you know, I think you should be able to test it. We years ago, it was kind of, I still don't know the truth about this. I'm gonna just throw it out there. It's kind of like we took an L, but it was a learning experience, and you probably remember when I talk about this. But I was working at a job site, and this was this was probably 2002, maybe 2002, and we went and had lunch at a Waffle House for on our lunch break. Me and a friend of mine named Gary, and we're there, and we see um a friend of ours wife having dinner with another man,
Mm-hmm.
like, and we're like, oh my god, it's them. And we both look at her, and we say hello, and she nods and says hello, and it's kind of awkward, and we're like sitting down at the table like, oh my god, like, what do we do? Because the other dude, I think he was at the job site, like I think he was working with us,
Oh.
and we're like, what do we do, man? We gotta say something. So we're like praying about it, and how do we break the news to the guy? So we ended up like going back to the job site and tell him, and he ends up telling us that his wife has a twin, and that was her twin there eating, and it wasn't his wife eating with another man. We never could confirm or deny that she had a twin or whatever, but
Yeah.
we felt like, like the discernment, like, hold on, no, 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 you're lying. That was her. That was the lady that we met at prayer meetings and stuff.
Because why did she nod and wave if she didn't know you? You'd never met her twin.
Well, I think we saw her, and it was like, oh, hey, hey, how are you, kind of
Yeah.
thing. She's like, hey. So I mean, it could have been,
Maybe it was just politeness.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, I don't know, but it's one of the things where we felt like early on was like, oh my God, this is, was our discernment off? I mean, but the discernment was definitely discernment of the eyes. Do our eyes deceive us? Because it's a
Yeah.
spitting image of the woman, even if it was her sister.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was maybe it was set up like that. Maybe it was true and it was a test to see if you would actually speak up when you saw something like that
Maybe
happen.
the whole thing was set up and they were just testing us to see if
Not
we would.
them, but
No,
but
they
God.
maybe though. Maybe it was an initiation into a Christian order,
Maybe.
and we passed.
Yeah, I would want someone to speak up.
Or maybe they seen that they can't tell us secrets because we tell everybody. Maybe we failed.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe we didn't get invited to the party.
You don't want to be invited to those kinds of
Yeah, right.
parties.
Secret parties. No. Mm-mm. Anyway, that's different than the gut feeling, but it's still like we felt like, no, that's her.
Mhm. You might have been right. I mean, who knows? It's like you said though, it is a balance, like trusting the intuition versus every feeling that you have, because some of our feelings come from experiences, not from our gut intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've been hurt by something before, you're going to be on the lookout for that more, and
Yeah.
you can feed intentions into situations that aren't really there. So there, it is important to find a balance. But anyway, it's with it being like a recurring theme, and when we read our Bible study today, it was in there that these evil doers are the ones sitting around you having meals with you. Like, I don't know, it just has been a common theme, like to be careful around even the people that are close to you, and be careful who you share your dreams with too. Like a lot of people, I feel like, even share their dreams with their family, and the family like crushes the dream,
Yeah.
because it's for them it wasn't possible, but for you maybe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like just to be careful, sharing your dreams and sharing your innermost secrets with people, because they might be feasting at your table, but it doesn't mean that they're on your team necessarily.
Hmm. Yeah, it's hard to do, um, especially if it means something to you and the person drags you down.
Yeah.
I remember the first couple times that happened to, like, people who were uh, kind of discipling me or something, and I had a dream and a vision. I felt like God spoke to me, and I brought it to them, and they're like, "No, that's not God. God wouldn't do that. He doesn't work like that." And it's like, I knew like it was him, and I just wanted some confirmation. And the
Mm-hmm.
people you look up to are like, "No, that's not God." That happened like so much early on in the church with like prophetic giftings and abilities and these dreams and stuff like that we'd have, and it wasn't like God doesn't speak to you that way, is what we found out.
Right.
But when you're young and impressionable, and you look up to these people and they kind of shoot you down.
Yeah.
And that was something that we experienced a lot of, and come to find out a lot of people did too, or still do, when it comes to you know a church setting and having dreams and visions, or what God will and won't do. That's the last thing I can even speak on now, what God will and won't do, because the moment you say that's the moment he does it.
Yeah.
That, well, God will never do that, and then he does it. It's like,
Even how many people told us it wasn't God's will for us to get married, like, and we both knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that we were supposed to be married, and so many people said, "No, that's not God. You're not supposed to get married," and gave the wildest, most ridiculous reasons why we shouldn't, and including, I remember, like, we wanted to get married at our church, but we were young. Like, you were 17, I was 18, and they were like, "Okay, well, you have to go through marriage counseling." We were like, "Great, yeah, sure, set us up." We went through the marriage counseling, graduated it, picked the date, and they kept canceling our date on us, like making up weird excuses. And then we picked another date, and they canceled that date, and it was just disappointing, because we wanted our church family's support and to be surrounded by them, and in our church was such a meaningful place to us. And it's kind of funny how God works, because we ended up getting married out in nature, out in a park, which was beautiful and perfect, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. But yeah, don't tell people your dreams all the time. Have discernment about who you share your dreams with, because some of them are dream crushers.
yeah, yeah, it's a hard lesson learned. You know, they want you to be like, you want to be excited about it, uh, and you want that person to be excited about it, but it just doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
So you have to have enough excitement yourself, and it really helps. It does help you to like double down on being able to hear, though. Everybody can hear God if it's a pat on the back.
Right.
But when you have to hear God or have a word from God, and nobody else sees the vision. Welcome to the wonderful world of being a prophet or a seer,
I know.
because you're
Yeah.
operating in a level of seeing things from a position that many people can't see from. So you come back down to validate. They haven't seen what you've seen, but hold on to it. If it's legit. But yeah, last thing you probably want to do is run around and tell everybody your dream. We see what happened with Joseph,
Yeah.
and told his brothers his dreams about the plans that God had for him, what was coming down the pipeline.
His own brothers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Tell us more. God's gonna do what for you? And I said, okay. You see that happening a lot with people just talking and sharing their secrets, sharing their weakness with people. There's people like, okay, use it against you. Everybody who's with you ain't for you.
There's too many people out looking for something to use against you, because it gets clicks on the internet. It pays their bills. It gets money. Like, so many people who used to be in beautiful, um, prophetic, or even like biblical circles, now they just point out what's wrong with everything and attack. And it's like, you attack because you're getting money in your pocket, but that's such a Judas mindset. Like, do you really want to identify more with Judas or with Jesus? Jesus went and sat with the people that you wouldn't have agreed with.
Yeah.
I always want to strive to be more like Jesus. I think the world needs more of it and more of him. And it's really cool because I think the world's getting more of him, even outside of the church, and I love to see it. I love it.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is. I can't. I try my best to limit the social media and the scrolling and stuff, just because um, when you find good videos, they're awesome. I love a good funny video or something like that. Um, but there's too many know-it-alls, and there's too many people attacking, and too many saying this is the way, and this is the only way, and everybody who believes the other way, and this has to be it. And it's like it's too much of that, and it does something to me. It makes me angry.
Yeah.
Like it gets under my skin. Um, you know, just to I don't know, just to see people propped up on a high horse of like as a know-it-all,
Mm-hmm.
and it don't because I know it doesn't work that way. Sometimes I want to comment, sometimes I want to make a video or something like that, but that's pulling you in, and the algorithms
Mm-hmm.
know that like that's what pulls you in, and so I just it's it's hard to watch. And I had to like unfollow even people who are friends and stuff that I've kept up with over the years, and they're on some wild stuff or whatever. As like you know pursuing truths and speaking truths and sharing truths and finding new truths that contradicts the other truths that we've been taught, and we're all deconstruction for sure, but there's a way to do it with grace,
Yeah.
and not gaslight people that still believe the other way. um try your best to do it with grace. It's not easy by any means, but I don't know. I think just, but it's not gonna get clicks if you don't. Grace ain't finna get clicks.
Mm-mm.
Accusations, finger pointing, name calling, buzzwords, all that stuff gets clicks, and this is the space that we're in, where our favorite pastors and people that we think are shepherds and stuff want to look out for us. They out here trying to get clicks. And some of it do them in the name of truth, because sometimes you gotta use some of that stuff and to get in front of people maybe, but I don't know. I've had to try to limit my time of just who I'm partaking of and seeing.
Well, I know I try to limit my time too, which I've gotten a little bad about it lately. But for a long time, I wouldn't even get on TikTok at all and social media
Until you started working on it.
till I start working on it. And then you have to respond to comments and stuff. And it's hard because you respond to the comments and it feeds the algorithm better. So you want to engage with your people, but a lot of these are not our people. And when I get on YouTube and I read the comments, and there's so many mean comments. I mean, it would probably be really hilarious to do a short video and just read some of our most negative comments, because some of them are so funny. Like, these people reach down to the depths to come up with stuff sometimes, but um, sometimes I read them and it'll stir something up in me. That feeling you're talking about that you don't like, that anger, or want to defend yourself, or want to attack, or I always want to comment back, and I have to like restrain myself from clicking that button to comment back. It's just so mean and hateful sometimes. But the good comments like mean the world to us. So if you have good comments, keep them coming, because that's what really fills our cup and keeps us doing this, and keeps us knowing that we're on the right track. That, and our community. We have a really great community that we meet with on Zoom, and talking to them is really uplifting too. So shout out to you guys.
That's where all the deep stuff's at. Where I just turn loose about whatever and kind of uncensored. Try to censor myself sometimes on here anyway.
Yeah.
I seen a cool video today with from a Joel Osteen interview, and he was just talking. They were asking him kind of about haters, or the comment section and stuff, and he was just talking about how he's learned to kind of tune it out and not focus on it, because he's seen other preachers and other ministers preaching from the pulpit, preaching to their congregation, but with those angry, mean comments in mind, and it changes your presentation. It changes your inflection of your voice, and you're speaking to this person or these people that are against you that aren't in your church. And Joel Osteen was just talking about how it was such a disservice to the people who were there, who were like hungry, and like they're there because you're so encouraging, because you're so positive, and they love what you have to say, but you're focused on the naysayer. And I've definitely been there many a times. It's part of how I've been, groomed to wrestle with the scriptures and debate the scriptures and stuff. It's that kind of thing. But I try my best to get away from it.
Yeah.
Especially on podcast form or something, or we're talking about bad comments or whatever. It kind of ruffles those feathers versus like just responding to, the people who genuinely have a question or genuinely have a concern or something like that. But for the most part, as far as like what we do, and a goal is to help people just to think, people to look at things a little bit differently. And if we've done that, I think I won.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just get people to ask questions, look at this stuff a little bit differently. And just by reading the comments and the way, people, the way they're responding or things they're trying to get us to talk about, like, people are asking deeper questions for sure. And then they're trying to get some clarity on, I guess going super deep, and then trying to get some clarity of how all this stuff kind of works together,
Yeah. Well, it's been a few days, probably about a week, but I started listening to an audio book, and it's called Your Word is Your Wand. It's by Florence Shin, and she was a Christian. I don't know. Is she a philosopher? Is that what you would call her? Probably.
No, she's a Christian New Thought author. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I started my second book by her, and it's a lot of mantras and affirmations and things. She would treat different situations. She uses the word treat, like a doctor. And people would call her when they have situations they're going through to come and treat it and help them change their mind, to have a new perspective about the situation. And we have a lot going on right now with us and with our daughter, and just different things and contracts. And so we have a lot going on behind the scenes. And I got a new revelation of the scripture: whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven, whatever you loose on earth is loosed in heaven. Because, like, for instance, if you have a debt that you want forgiven, and a lot of this same stuff correlates in the books that she has, is if you have a debt that you want forgiven, forgive a debt that somebody owes you. It's not only about sin forgiveness, it's actually practical too, that if you sow the seed of forgiving that debt to somebody, then that is what you're going to reap. Your debt will be forgiven of someone else. If you have a contract that you want canceled, have another contract canceled, because these things, you reap what you sow, and it balances out in a very practical way, just like it does in the spirit with our debts and our sins and things that we've committed that we're supposed to forgive and be forgiven. That the practical things about everyday life work that way too. And so that's been kind of cool to pay attention to behind the scenes.
Yeah. When you whatever you sow, the Bible says, "Be not deceived." That is what you also reap. Whatsoever man soweth, that he shall also reap. So, yeah, thinking of it as little things like that, but little things, but practical. It's like I've always talked about it. Like, if you want a friend, be a friend.
Yeah.
Nobody calls me when I'm going down. Like, how many people do you call when they're down? You catch wind that they're going through it. Did you call them? Like you sow that, put that in there, and then when I believe that when it's needed, when you need it, like God sees it through, that it's going to come back to you.
Yeah.
Be a friend for those who don't have a friend.
That ego response is like, well, nobody reached out to me, so why should I reach out to anybody else? And don't feel bad if you feel that way, because it's natural. It's a fleshly, normal thing to experience, but that's what we got to battle against, those kinds of mindsets that are egotistical and selfish even. Well, nobody did it for me, why should I do it for somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
Because look at our example of Jesus Christ. He did everything for us and gave us his all. He became a sacrifice for us. And I mean, it's the least you could do to reach out to somebody. The golden rule: do unto others as if you have them to do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a powerful difference.
Most of the time, it's not reciprocated by the person, and
Yeah, exactly.
but that's where you store up the treasures in heaven. Where like I still believe that God makes sure that you're taken care of, like
Mm-hmm.
when you need it, and but also it kind of this other don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing is like you're sowing that just so only because the laws and you're gonna get something back.
Yeah.
So you're trying to be a good person, so or you're trying to give money because you want to get more money back or whatever. But you know, but knowing that, because that is how it works, there's this little dichotomy to try to get over of like, let me just give. I want this just to be just a part of my nature and what I do,
Yeah.
without thinking of uh, the benefits and the consequences or what's in it for me.
Yeah. Is
You
your
know.
why because you really want to help this person, because you really want to be a light to them? Or is your why because I want to receive, on the other hand? Like, what's your motivation?
Mm-hmm.
That matters.
Yeah, I think empathy plays a big role in it. Of like, if you've been through something,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know what it's like to not have a friend, so you try to become a friend. You know what it's like to have somebody pay for your meal, so then you're like, whose meal can I pay for?
Yeah.
Who can I bless? Who can I, do a favor for, or something like that.
Yeah. It's so important. And, just so happens to work out in our favor one way or another now, whether it's now or in the future or on the other side. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
always works out in our favor to act out in love and kindness.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So be encouraged.
and be an encouragement. Well, I had found some questions on the internet that I thought some of them were very interesting. So I will get your take on a couple of them. Have you ever experienced a miracle yourself? Healing, financial breakthrough, protection from danger, or something that just couldn't be explained? And what do you think brings miracles? Is it your faith? Is it prayer, fasting, or simply God's grace? I would love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, I would say a lot, a lot of miracles, or what I would say, something supernatural where God shows up somehow, where it didn't seem like He would. Um, One of the first ones, like a financial miracle for us when we like after we got married, was we didn't have money to pay pay the bills. It was like $100 short or
Yeah.
whatever, and then you come. I came home from work and found you inside in our little camper trailer we were living in, a little 27-foot camper or something,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, and you were crying listening to worship music, and I thought you were mad at me or something. I didn't know why you were crying, like, cause I came home late or something. I was like, oh, what's going on? And you had just handed me the letter, and it was somebody had said Merry Christmas, Derek and Aaron, like they'd written it in crayon, and it was just $100 bill, and we were $100 bill short, and we're praying that God would provide and meet our needs, right? And that was a miracle. But how and why, I have to rewind a couple months before that. We had a friend who had got fired from their job or let go and was going through some financial troubles, and I started working my first job and got my first paycheck, and we were gonna go to the mall. I think I had $100 extra that we were gonna go spend,
Yeah.
and we were at church after church. We were praying, and I just felt the Holy Spirit tell me, "Give that $100 to this brother who's in need. Don't tell him. Just slip it in his pocket." I pulled you to the side, you know, told you to get your approval. You say, "Yeah, if you think God spoke to you and you feel like this is God, then do it." And I just did it. He was praying for somebody or something, and I just kind of real gently, like barely slid it in his pocket where he couldn't see me or know it was me. And so I think that I kind of, we don't know, but I think it was him who months later paid it forward and gave the money back to us, in a different way when we needed it. But at the same time, it's like God orchestrated it. Like just the way that happened perfectly for us was um, a big test for our faith,
Mm-hmm.
and it proved, that God is faithful. And if the Holy Spirit's leading you to do something to help somebody, then it's for a good reason. And when you need it, it's reciprocated and given back to you when you need it. Sometimes pressed down, shaken together, running over, like way more than that. But it just so happened to be exactly what we needed. And so to that was a big, uh, statement for our faith early on in 2001.
Yeah, I remember that very vividly because $100 to us then was like $1,000 now. Like it was a lot of money to
Mm-hmm.
us, and yeah, acted out in faith, and we don't know who gave us the $100 back. We can guess all we want, but we really don't know. Nobody
I think
ever,
I even asked him, and he was like, "No, brother, I don't know. It wasn't me."
yeah,
Like he didn't.
nobody ever owned
Mm-hmm.
up to it, but it was awesome. We needed it, and it came through.
So that was a miracle. Teaches you to trust God when you feel the Holy Spirit telling you to do something.
Mm. I remember too. For me, another miracle was when we were living in Louisiana. I say we first got saved, but after the whole backslidden witchcraft,
Mm-hmm.
really bad time, and we came to Christ, and we're new creations, and we wrote down this list of prayers that we had. One was to have Christian friends, to move back here to Alabama, to get our car fixed. It was just this list, and we prayed and asked God. I mean, it wasn't even that long. It was like a couple of days before things started falling right into place. But the big miracle was our car was so messed up we couldn't even drive it home to Alabama because it was like I think you push the gas all the way to the floor and it would barely go, or vice
No,
versa.
when you crank it up, it would.
You had to ride the brake because the gas would rev all the way up,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't safe. And I remember telling my mom, we wanted to come home, that we didn't want to live over there anymore. We wanted to come home and get back to the church family that you knew, your church fathers from earlier, and just to get a better start. Because it just, sometimes when you're in a situation where there's so much darkness, a fresh start is just what you need. And so we just wanted to come home to Alabama. And I talked to my mom on the phone, said, we really want to come home, but we don't think the car will make it. And she's like, well, if you can get the car home, we'll help you pay to get it fixed. And I said, well, Mom, we don't even have gas money to make it home. And she said, go look under the jack in the trunk. I taped a plastic bag with a $20 bill in it, which at the time was a full tank of gas, guys.
Mm.
And sure enough, we went and looked and found the $20 taped under the jack in the trunk, just in case of emergencies. My sweet mama was thinking ahead. And, I fully believe God used her in that way. And we laid hands on the car, prayed over it that it would make it home to Alabama, put that $20 of gas in there, and sure enough, it drove all the way here.
Mm-hmm.
That was a miracle to me, to get us out of that situation that was not good. And yeah, it felt like being rescued by an angel for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then all the other things, I think it was 7 things that we had written down, and all of them were answered like within just a few days,
Yeah.
and it was a big deal. And some of them seem, all of them seem miraculous. So they were
Yeah.
miracles. They were answered prayers that were, you know, answered miraculously within like, I don't know, 5 days or something, if that. Like, so we wrote them down and we prayed. We'd pray over them every night before we went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
and all of them were answered. It was to have Christian friends. It was to relocate. It was to get a job,
Mm-hmm.
and all of it happened miraculously.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
that for sure stands out as a miracle. It almost doesn't even sound real, like telling that story, but it's true. It really happened.
Mm-hmm. This is an interesting question somebody had. Erica on Facebook, she was asking this. I'm curious what your take on weeping when you pray. It's not something that I've ever experienced until recently, and although I'm sure it's an experience that is sort of unique to each individual, I'm very intrigued as to what others experience. Different different prayer styles in general. Crying when you pray, or weeping when you pray.
Well, sometimes in prayer, but definitely worship too. Like I know at Joy Fest, we were there a couple of days, and every time the presents would fall, like I would just pretty much the whole time I was just crying. It wasn't like sad crying. It's just an overwhelming feeling. Like you have so much joy and the presence is so strong. It's just I don't know, that's just the natural reaction I had to it was just to cry. And it was funny. I guess we had had a break for lunch or something, and I can't remember. I can't remember who asked me. It might have. I don't remember who it was, but somebody basically was like, "Well, have you had fun today?" I was like, "Yeah, I've had a great time. So what have you been doing? Just crying all day?"
Mm.
Like somebody said that to me because I just cried the whole time, pretty much. But it was a beautiful experience. It's just overwhelming. Like I don't think the human capacity for emotion can compute sometimes what you feel in the spirit. And for me, it's crying, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just when you just feel deeply um with prayer, and and it could be ramped up. You can feel things more deeply,
Mm-hmm.
like that you didn't think you could. I've talked about like sharing our testimony and stuff, and talking about Jesus, and things where I could say it, just in passing, many times over, but then I just go through seasons where I'm like, I just mention Jesus or talk about His grace or how good He is, and I just start weeping. I've definitely been like feeling real sensitive in that, and there was I shouldn't even mention it now, but it was a quote from a saint that says something about tears when you pray and stuff, and how powerful they are. But it's like an offering to God, a gift.
He sees each tear that falls.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think, yeah, it just means that you feel deeply, or you know, it's not a it's not to say that people who aren't crying don't feel deeply either, though.
That's true.
Just different ways to express emotions and feel emotions.
Mm-hmm. So this was a good question. It's going to be probably a little controversial, but it said, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Why pray to Mary if you can pray to God directly? My understanding of intercession is praying for others, but I feel that it only makes sense if I pray to God for my friend or on behalf of my friend. I've never really understood the idea of praying to someone other than God, to ask them to pray for myself in place of praying directly to God. So, this one I've kind of gotten a new appreciation for in the past couple of years is asking the helpers to help you instead of only praying directly to God, which you can. There's nothing wrong with that at all, praying directly to God or talking to Jesus. But over and over in the scriptures, like we're reminded that we have all of this team, these watchers, these angels. There are ministers, our ministering spirits, and they're there to help us. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with talking to them or asking them for favors because they act on God's behalf. He created them for that purpose. So I used to, in my early faith, I would have probably agreed and said, no, you should never pray to anyone but God. But the more you read and dig into the scripture, and you find that these other beings are in place to help you, that he created a hierarchy for that purpose. And, you know, it's kind of like in the family dynamic. Your daughter's not going to ask the dad about personal stuff that women go through because that's not his specialty, you know? They're
Mm-hmm.
going to go to the mom. So to be able to talk to Mary about things, like we were listening to a worship song in the car, and I said, I wonder what she would say about this song, because it was saying, oh, the wonderful cross. And
Mm-hmm.
like wonderful, you know, using it in the context of being good, like, and what Jesus did for us is overarchingly good. But as a mother, to have to watch her son go through that on the cross, like, I was like, I wonder if she would say it was wonderful, you know,
Mm-hmm.
after sitting through it and holding his broken body at the end. And so, anyway, to go to someone who has a personal experience with
Mm-hmm.
things that you might be going through and to ask them for help, because I don't think when you die, you just die and you're unavailable anymore. I don't
Yeah.
believe that that's true at all. Um, and yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing to still talk to them, to call them by name and remember them. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have to, but I think if I crossed over, I would want people to remember me and still talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they would say, the Catholics or people who do that, who pray to Mary and stuff, or pray to a saint. Um, they have jobs, you know.
Yeah.
The angels have jobs that they do, and so I don't know. I don't like I said, we don't really do it, but this is an interesting way to look at it. I've talked to enough people through different religions and theological standpoints that like I see it the same way as a Christian would, a Protestant Christian anyway, would like pray to the pray and use, let me put it in their vernacular, pray and use the different names of God.
Yeah.
Jehovah Jireh, you are my provider, right? Knowing that these different names of God are different titles or aspects of the one God. And so I kind of still see it. I kind of see the saint thing that way and the helper thing that way. It's like, why would, there's saints or angels that are act as shields or act as protectors, right? And you would incorporate that into your prayer. You would incorporate that into your vigil.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Same way most Christians would use a different name of God, like a Hebrew name.
Yeah.
I kind of see it very similar.
Yeah. Me too.
The different archetype or characteristic. Um, let's see if there's any other questions here that are. Somebody said this is a interesting one. Noah's Ark wasn't an ark; it was a spaceship with DNA sample library of all the animals.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but I kind of have wondered about that myself, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could be. I think the Book of Inky kind of leans into that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The ancient alien theories and stuff.
Yeah, and there are other, I can't remember which text it is, but other texts that talks about the seed banks in heaven, like that all the plants and all of
Mm-hmm.
that there's a seed bank where all of these things are held and protected from extinction.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm.
That or like the pyramids or something could have been that they withstood the floods.
Yeah.
Um, or another interesting way to look at it is to look at the Earth as being that.
Yeah.
The Earth as being this place that is preserved under an ark. or in an ark, which is what people say we're under an ark, which is the firmament or the dome that we're under. And so the ark is that dome that it was in. It's preserving the life that's within it, so the waters can't overtake it. The waters above and the waters below. So it makes perfect sense, and I think that, I think it is talking about that. I think the Bible's multidimensional, and it like approaches the same story from many different aspects, either the same story or a repeat of that story. So whether it was Noah's Ark or whether it was the creation of the world, that got recreated in the beginning of Genesis, and then this thing that kind of continues to happen, because it's the same wording. And then the idea of Moses was born and put in an ark, the basket. I think it's called an ark too. Yeah. Anyway, it's just real interesting how the stories are like the same story, just told from a different perspective and use different words.
Yeah, sounds crazy just to read it, but if you actually look into it, it's not that crazy to imagine.
There was a lot of comments. I was surprised because sometimes we post and we don't get a lot of questions, but it's a pretty good bit. People talking about the Anunnaki. Where do you go when you die? Do you go straight to hell or straight to heaven?
I know, these are so deep. They could be their own entire podcast. Anunnaki is such a broad topic.
Zach Harbin says Melchizedek and the priesthood, garments, ephod, traditions, etc. Like that too. Like so many places you can go with it.
I don't understand that enough to talk about it much. It honestly is a little confusing for me.
I kind of feel like nobody does, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Just because I don't, I probably feel like people don't. But.
I'm not going to pretend that I do. I don't.
It's fun. Come on. Let's pretend.
Nah.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you would like to do this again with us, if you'd like to hang out, you can go check out our Patreon or our community app that we have. You can go to www.seer.school. You can get tickets to come to the retreat October 2nd through the 5th, Anderson, South Carolina. It's going to be a lot of fun. The retreats are amazing. So we'd love to see you there.
Yeah. And if, you have a space that you want us to come to, all like different state, different area, keep us in mind and just shoot us a message, because we're always seeing, where the Spirit wants to send us next. So we don't have the next retreat on the books yet, and we're kind of looking to see. And so if you feel anything or want us to come to your area, you can let us know.
Talk to your pastor. See if he'll have us out.
Don't do that.
Do it. Let me look into these guys a little bit.
Oh no.
Brother, I don't feel you should be watching these guys. That guy's confused. Rob, can I pray for you?
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for hanging out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do it again. Love y'all.
Peace, peace.
Peace. Hey, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed. I want you to know that there is a video right here that you can watch a video right by me. Click this video.
No, don't click his video. Click my video. His video is probably about demons and dark stuff anyways. Mine's probably about angels and awesome stuff.
She has a point. So you decide, the demon or the angel. What do you go with?